All right. Dirty 30 Pod, week 3 of the preseason. We are officially 11 days out from the draft.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I
Yes.
didn't do the math.
No, man, I did it just right now. 11 days out. Yeah,
Jesus.
it's exciting. It's good stuff, man. So close to football, right? Like preseason's on, watching little Caleb Williams action, watching Jaden Daniels, right? Like it's fun. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff on today's pod. We're going to talk about what's on Devy's brain, right? A couple of things just kind of going around in the league, just fantasy football wise in general. We'll talk about the 6 trades that happened in the offseason that we haven't yet talked about, right? And then we'll talk through our NFC players that we like, dislike, wild cards. That sound good with everyone?
Yep.
All right, boys, I'll hand it over. Devy, 2 or 3 things that's kind of on your brain, man. Take
Oh
take the
man.
take the lead.
Are we sure we want to do this?
I'm
No.
ready.
I was thinking today, and of course, I came up with it today. Trying to think about what to talk about, what's on my brain. And there's a guy on Undroppables, Jax, and he said the other day we were talking about all these preseason games and I follow a lot of beat reporters and the preseason darlings and I love my rookies, so we get to see a little bit of showcase there. But he said a quote, and I think it's kind of funny, and I don't know how serious he was about it, but he said preseason rots the brain. And like I was just like, well, yeah, I guess, you get attached to these guys that might not ever see the field again and all this other stuff. So I was kind of thinking about, as a well-known rookie lover in these drafts, I was thinking about some of these preseason guys. I haven't really watched a whole lot of the games. I don't know if you guys have been watching or not, but any of these guys that might make a leap into our draft and where they go and how much these preseason games and how much they see hypes them up draft wise, a Bucky Irving, a Caleb Williams, a Jaden, Daniels, or
Yeah.
that Jordan Whittington guy, is he Puka 2.0? Absolutely not. But, but that shit gets thrown out there. So kind of seeing if any of that ends up becoming relevant to our draft or not.
Yes,
So
sir. I love it. I love it. I'll admit I moved Roma Dunze up a little bit after watching some preseason games. So I'm with you.
dude balls.
Dude does ball.
But
What
yeah.
else you got, buddy?
I think it's necessary every year um for I think one of us at least does it with the what's on our brain with the draft coming up. I know there's only gonna be 6 of us there. What's kind of thinking about what the food's gonna be like. It's a little weird. It's a 2 o'clock draft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Eric's hosting, so the abundance of fruit will be plentiful. But I was kind of just, kind of thinking, kind of curious on what we're gonna be munching on a little bit at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That was also on my brain today. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. Yes, sir. What to do with Derek's $100 is also on my brain today. Seems like a lot of booze for
Forget
six.
about that.
It seems like a lot of booze for 6 of us, but we could probably make it work. So,
Yep.
It's gonna be
oh,
drinking good, drinking the good stuff.
drinking good, drinking good. I like it. Sounds good, man. Anything else? Was it just kind of those 2?
That's everything.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I like it. Sounds like a plan. Um, our first pod, we kind of talked through the first 3 trades that we did. Craig kind of threw us for a loop. We talked about the last 3 trades that Craig kind of did. So we got like 6 more, right? Believe it or not, we are at 12 trades already, right? It's wild, man. So I'm gonna just kind of like go through
Cruising.
these 6 and let me know if anything kind of stands out to you guys. Gosh, where are we at here? So we have Tanner trading for Brees Hall, right? With like an 8th for a 5th swap with Devi. We have me trading for Zay Flowers for 11th and a 15th swap. We have me and Christian swapping first and fifths for second and thirds, right? Christian having 2 2s, 2 3s now.
Yep.
And right after that, Devin doing the exact same trade, right? With Tyler, the 1 and a 5 for Devi now has 2 2s, 2 3s. Tyler trading for Olave, right? For a 5, 10, 12, 15 swap. And then I traded one of my first rounders to get out of the 5 spot to get Craig's second and fourth for a first and a 7th. So I know that's a lot of numbers, right? I don't know if you guys have it in front of you or not, right? Anything that stands out, Christian, anything that stands out with any of those trades that you want to talk about?
Well, I think that getting Brees Hall is obviously a good move. I just off value alone, I think the trade compensation was super fair. I mean, I don't think it was lopsided one way or the other, but like I'll probably get
a 5 for an 8.
And what are they keeping Hall with?
Brees is a 3rd round keeper.
Third.
Right. So
Yep.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty reasonable, you know. I loved you getting Zay. That was a very good trade. Zay was definitely on my radar for the draft. No longer, but he's a very good keeper, I think. And then yeah, I mean, like if I could go back, I think about this. If I could go back and do our trade over again, like if I would not do it, maybe just knowing like how things have kind of played out with like possibly
there at 5
going back.
Sure.
I think Gibbs is still going to be kept, but like I really would have drafted Gibbs at 5. And then I think we made the trade and he was kept like the next day. So that made me feel a lot better. I'm like 50-50 on our trade, whether I would do it again or not.
Sure.
But yeah, I think all the trades, I don't think there was one that stood out like the one where whoever traded like a 10th for a 15th or an 8th for whatever that one was last week we talked about.
Yeah,
the random one with Craig and Tyler.
Yeah, the one where he like just traded up in the 6th round.
Yep. For a 9 and a 15. Yep.
Yes. That one was the only one that I've really been like puzzled about. So
I agree, man. I think the two that stand out for me, I think I was in on the Brees Hall trade. Tanner just paid a little bit more, right? Which like I respect, right? I was in on the Chris Olave trade. Tyler paid a little bit more, which I respect, right? Like I think it all seems fair, man. I'm kind of by the like go and get your guys, like if this is your keeper guy, right? Like what's an 8th rounder, like that doesn't
absolutely
no skin off my back, I'll pay a little extra to go get my guy who's a top 5 keeper. I think I had Olave at 5. So I love that one for Tyler, and Tanner wasn't going to keep him anyway, so he got something. Debbie, anything that sticks out to you?
No, you guys pretty much nailed it. I don't know, the trading out of the first is a little wild. We'll see how it turns out. I'm intrigued by that. Again, I don't know if I would do it again, but I think there's some guys that might be available in those spots that I like.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. That 5 or 6 spot was just kind of, so
yeah,
we'll see.
You guys don't have first. Tyler has 2 1s, right? Tyler has 2 1s and Craig has 2 1s going into next week's draft. So yeah, it'll be fun, man. It's always a good time. That board's absolutely nuts. And next week is our big predict the first round week. So that's always a good time.
Always a fun.
I love that one, man. It's one of the best pods we do all year. So
yeah,
I love it. NFC players. We'll kind of talk through players we like, kind of all 3 of us kind of give the players that we like. Then we'll talk about dislikes and wild cards. So I can kind of start us off here. Player I like, and I think is just like priced right. DJ Moore, right? We talked a lot about preseason. We talked a lot about Caleb Williams, right? I just think he looks like the real deal. I think DJ Moore is like a stud, right? You give him probably the best passing quarterback that he's had like his entire career, right? I think that's like safe to say already. Um,
They've been pretty garbage.
they've been pretty garbage, you know. Like I Keenan, we'll see. Odunze, we'll see. I feel pretty good about DJ Moore going wide receiver 20. So he's just a player I like and I think is like well priced. So Devi, I love your player that you like.
Me
who you
too.
got? Who you got, man?
RB17, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Can't be scared of the guy. Again, just really good price. People are afraid, it's not the best offense, but I mean, he's going to be a focal point there. And, I saw some of the running backs going before him. Well, again, not bad because we're a little high up there. I mean, ooh, I could see myself taking him, pretty high if he's available. But yeah, just a guy that I like, a guy that's gonna see a lot of work, and you get a little bit more of a discount on him this year than in years past. So
Yeah.
there's nothing not to like there, I don't think.
Nope. I can't name 16 running backs that are better than Alvin Kamara. So it seems mispriced, man. I'm with you. I think like kind of running back in general kind of seems weird and mispriced this year, but
Very interesting.
very
Yeah.
weird, man. Yeah, but I dig it. Christian, who you got, buddy? Who's your NFC player that you like this year?
Yeah, I like both of yours, to be honest. Like DJ Moore has just been a stud. Even like last year, I looked up his stats and I think I had him in a league. But 96 catches, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns with Justin Fields and like Tyson Bagent. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, I
Yeah.
get it, but that was a good one. Kamara's obviously a stud. But my guy, another guy that like kind of similar to Kamara, like he was in the top 5 picks just within like the last 2 to 3 years. And that's Cooper Kupp. So, obviously Puka is there and, Cooper Kupp, he's going to kind of be banged up a little bit here and there. You're going to have those weeks where he's questionable and going in game time decision, but like if Cooper Kupp went out there and he had 120 catches for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I wouldn't bat an eye. So like, and I honestly think if he plays all 17 games, I think he's a guaranteed top 8 receiver. Like, I think that's like his floor. So like, but he's got to play all those games, but we'll see what happens. I just think he's a player where he's ranked. Like, there's zero chance I would take 17 receivers ahead of him. I think that he's gonna make a fantasy owner very happy.
Yeah. I mean, he's going wide receiver 18 and like he's not going to end there, right? He either ends like top 5, right? Or he ends like 60th, right?
Right.
Yes. Just because he got banged up, right? Like he just I'm the Puka owner. I am not afraid of taking Cooper Kupp whatsoever. I think that's a great like pick that just kind of it's an offense you want pieces of, right?
Yeah.
For sure, man. Player I dislike, Kyle Pitts. Like, aren't we over Kyle Pitts already? Like, come on, man.
We would not be talking about him if they didn't get Kirk Cousins. No chance.
There's no chance, right? Like, based on last year, like he was like unplayable. I'm sure he hit waiver wires last year, right? He was just unplayable.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. He's going tight end 6. It's just too strong for me. Do I think he's like tight end 10-ish? I probably do, right? But tight end 6, that's going ahead of like George Kittle. Doesn't make any sense to me. I just kind of put him in like the Njoku, like Brock Bowers tier, just like if everything went right, I could see these guys kind of being all right, Yeah, I just don't see Kyle Pitts as like a bona fide top 6 tight end. Yeah, so I probably he more than likely won't be on my team. Debbie, who's the player you dislike in the NFC?
Okay. So wide receiver 23.
I can't believe this one, man.
I know. Malik Neighbors, I don't hate him by any means. I love him. You know, I don't have enough of him.
He's on your dislike list right now.
I know. I didn't have enough of him in my rookie drafts. I we're just going back to I like the kid, but we're going back to I don't like Daniel Jones. I don't like that offense. They'll be passing a lot, you know, so there's a plus there. But again, we're just going back to I'm looking at the list. Receivers are just weird this year, like we were talking about earlier. I see these guys that are going after him, and it's just like I just don't like where he's going. And I think people are, you know, catapulting him up. But there's too many guys after him that I like better and that I would rather have. So watch him, you know, ball out. 1,000+ yard receiver, 20+ touchdowns. I don't know.
Dude, I agree with you though. Like, it's not that I don't like him. I just hate his situation.
I'll just wait till next year when the Giants, you know, get the first overall pick and they draft Carson Beck or something like that. And then
But that's exactly why though, like that's why Neighbors is so high, is because he's like that sexy LSU receiver, you know,
Right.
like the hot shot, like next Jamar Chase, whatever. But you're gonna have to
dude's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to take him in the second or third round.
Exactly.
You know, like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I agree. If Neighbors goes second round, that'd be surprising. Third round, he might be a third round player this year. And I agree that might be a little rich, man. So I don't like, yeah, I can't super complain, just like surprising, right? With all your rookie talk off the top of the show. So I dig it, man.
So I'll take him in the second round.
So I'm gonna ask you guys a question because I just looked it up.
Yes, sir.
So since Daniel Jones got there in 2019, so this is 5 seasons, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay. What do you think the most yards in a season a receiver has had for the Giants in those 5 years?
Oh man.
Most yards in a season.
400.
I wouldn't even know like who that player is. Like, I don't know. 800?
Lower.
Oh no.
So 770. So in 19, I won't go on for this very long. 19 and 20, it was Slayton in like the 700s.
Okay.
21 was Galladay with 520.
Oof.
And 20, it was Slayton again in 22 with 700 something. And then Slayton again for 770 last year, which was the most. So if you want a 700-yard receiver, Darius Slayton's your fucking guy. So he's done it 4 times in the last 5 years.
Oof. Man.
Yeah. So obviously Neighbors is better, but that just shows how bad they are. Like,
Yeah.
Great best ball guy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he threw a couple
That's
of
brutal.
the ugliest picks I've ever seen in that preseason game. But
yeah. That's
yeah,
so
I'm with
bad.
you, man. All about where he goes, right? All about where he goes. So, Christian, who's the NFC player
Yeah.
you dislike?
Sorry to get off track there, but yeah, so my
Okay.
guy that I dislike,
Good info.
it's Josh Jacobs. And like I like the player. He led the league in rushing like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
But in Green Bay, LaFleur has just never been a bell cow guy. And it seems like Jordan Love balled out last year. They're gonna keep letting him throw. They still have AJ Dillon. They drafted a rookie, like I think Marshawn Lloyd, didn't they? So it's like, who knows what they'll do with him? I really just don't trust that situation for RB12. Like Jacobs will be a early second to mid second round pick this year, if not earlier.
Yep.
But I think he's one of those guys, like, if you're in a redraft and you drafted him in the second round, like, he's either going to make or break your team. Like, I think he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because you're going to start him every week. You have to start him every week.
Have
you
to.
know? So, Yeah, I don't know. I don't like him, especially where the value he's at.
Yep.
I like that logic. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That makes sense. Wild cards. I got Austin Eckler as my wild card. Um, what if it was just like injury last year, right? What if it was just a high ankle sprain,
Another dude who's been consistently top 5 picked
right?
every year.
I, yeah. What if Brian Robinson just kind of like falls off to the wayside and Austin Eckler, like catches a bunch of balls, right, and scores a bunch of touchdowns, and I RB 35. I just think like once again he's not going to end RB 35, right? He ends top 12, right, or he ends like 60th. I just
Right.
and maybe like you thinking Brian Robinson is also like a wild card candidate. He could be, right? Like I think like either one of them makes sense, but like what if he just wins the job, right? What if he's healthy? I just think he's like a good wild card, could swing your league as like, hey, he's a like every week RB2, right? Or like he hits waivers by week 4, like both things are plausible there. So
Couldn't agree more.
yeah, for
That
sure.
was a good one. Yeah.
Little intrigued, right? I'm a little intrigued. He goes pretty late, but
That's great. That's such good value for him, though.
so
Like,
late, man.
that's like a
35
like
number is crazy.
RB 35 is literally like a bench player. Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
it's like a bench player.
yep. And by week 4, right? Like if he's the man or not,
Yep.
kick him to the curb, or he's in your lineup every single week. So
Right.
I like him. He's just kind of like a wild card guy. Debbie, who you got, buddy?
Yeah. So my wild card is close to Eckler, RB 33,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Brooks. What are we doing here? He's another rookie. Gotta have 2 rookies on here. Dude was a stud in Texas. Went to Carolina, who needed all the help they can get. Chuba Hubbard is not the answer.
No.
A little banged up right now. I don't remember the timeline if he's gonna miss 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, possibly.
I think he's gonna start on pup, right? So he's
Is
gonna
he?
miss that's what
First
they keep.
6?
That's what they keep telling us. First 3 weeks, I believe.
First 3. Okay.
I believe that we don't know for sure yet, but
Right.
that's what it sounds
But-
like.
So, RB 33 again, when he comes back, he's taking that job over. I feel like the work's going to be his. Dude's good at football. It's just kind of a intriguing, where he's going to go and in the draft itself. And, again, kind of a little bit of a gamble, in a sense, depending on where you take him. So kind of just, wild card.
Yeah. Can you like withstand the first 3 weeks he's missing, and then
Right,
the first
yeah.
the first 3 like build up weeks? Like
For
can you
sure.
withstand 6 weeks? I like it, man. He's certainly a wild card. He could like win you a lot of games at the end of the year, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Or the team could be complete dog shit, right?
Yep.
And they're worrying about Jonathan Brooks 2025. So I like it, man. Christian, round us out here. Who's your wild card NFC player?
Yeah, I went receiver, and I took more of like a higher price guy, but
Mhm.
mostly because he is so like it's a roller coaster with him. Like he's gonna have weeks where you get 3 points and you're like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, why aren't you using him? And he's gonna have weeks where he gets 30 because they use him the right way. And
I love this one. This is
Deebo
great.
Samuel. Like I honestly could make a case that if Deebo was used the right way, he could be easily a first round pick. Easily. Like,
I think it was wide receiver 2 like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, right.
Not
I mean,
long,
wide
yeah.
receiver 14, and I don't really buy that like Ayuk's that great. Like, I think he's a good receiver, but like, I don't think it's just one of those things. Like, the 49ers are going to score points,
Mhm.
and if they do workload management like McCaffrey, even a little bit, like Debo should be on the field for every fucking snap. Like I know he won't be, but like he is that good of a player. And he's probably one of the most well-rounded, like versatile players. He's like this modern day Percy Harvin. Like I mean, that's basically who he is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, but like he's really fucking good. They just need to remember to use him every game,
Yeah.
So that's what, like, I'm looking more of a wild card on like a week to week basis. Like he's gonna be a wild card, like he's gonna piss you off, but then the next week he's popping off and you're gonna win high points that week, you know. So that's just kind of how I look at him.
Another guy who like misses a couple games a year, right? Another guy who like gets banged up in a couple games
Yep.
a year, just plays too hard, you know?
Yep. Yeah, he's gonna have a sprained ankle week 4. Like, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah. And then he's gonna score like 6 touchdowns in week 7. You know, just like, yeah, man.
Run, pass, catch. Dude
I
does
love
it.
it, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just crazy wild card player. Someone I've never actually had on my team, but like when you go against him, like you're a little scared, right? Your butt,
Yeah,
your butt,
You never know.
your butthole's a little tight, right?
Yeah.
For sure, man. I dig it. I like all the picks. Yeah, always like good to just kind of talk about players, right? Always kind of fun to see where these guys land come 11 days from now. So that's crazy stuff, man. Next week, we kind of talked about it a little bit already. We are talking a preview of our first round, right? Always a fun little exercise, right? We kind of go through the first 10 picks, and if we ran that team, who would we pick, right? So that'll be fun. Keep that in mind, and yeah, we'll get looking at that here next week. So, all right, boys, catch you then.
See you, boys.